How's it going? I hope you're having a great day. And today we're going over the top 5 color photographs in this Martin Parr book. The last video we picked the top 5 black and white photos, which I didn't even know were in this book. And when I stopped before I looked at the color photos, I was real excited. I think once I did it, there's something about the black and white photos that I like a lot from Martin Parr. But I picked the top 5 in color photos. There's one here that's just to me so good. It's I think is his best photo. I don't think it's really shown that much. I don't see it that much. When I seen the photo, I actually had forgotten about it, and I remembered it was my favorite of his when I first looked at this book many years ago. I think this came out in 2015 or something like that, maybe even earlier. I'm not too sure. And yeah, and I do want to say sorry for the audio on the last video. I had everything turned on, but my recorder was actually just set to record the audio from the recorder itself, not from the microphone, even though it was on. So it was sort of just a button that was pressed by accident. So when I seen the levels when I started, I don't really pay attention to the audio levels once I get going, because I do a little test to make sure it's working and then I go. So it was actually just picking up the levels from the recorder. It is what it is. But we are good to go now. So let's go ahead and pick the top 5 color photographs from this Martin Parr book. And before we get started, if you want to see some behind the scenes stuff, bunch of bonus content, head over to patreon.com/bsmitty. A bunch of content going on over there. I appreciate your support. Now let's get into the book. So my first photo selected is actually the photo I was talking about. This is my favorite one. So I guess we're getting the best one out of the way. And it is this one on the left here. This book is big, and I don't have a lot of space. Yeah, this photo is so sick. It just reminds me of back in the day, and that's probably why I like it. But at the same time, I mean, it's the location that's actually perfect, and the guy just staring at the videos, not looking at the camera, wearing a helmet, motorcycle helmet inside the store. I don't ride motorcycles or anything like that, but I think just like the all black with a little bit of color accents. I love the posters along the top of the wall. I think that helps complete this photo too. It's just so good. It's by far my favorite. Like, there's so much cool stuff. Like, this is like a VHS type advertisement right here. I do wish this was spun around. I think it is the same exact thing, so it probably doesn't matter. But yeah, it's just it's like holding a VHS tape, like brand Scotch. I have no idea if it's the same Scotch brand or not, but who knows? But I remember the whole. I actually have a shirt from that VHS logo of Scotch back then. But yeah, there's just so much good stuff going on in this photo. The colors are awesome. It reminds me of, like, this is from 1985, and I was gonna say it reminds me of like the early 90s. So it's probably like before the crazy colors of the 90s came in. I think the 80s it was very like interiors were like browns and stuff like that for stores. And I think like going to like a movie store to rent videos back in like the mid 90s, later 90s, I think things kind of got a little bit more colorful and playful with like Nickelodeon and that type of thing. And that could just be like my youth remembering that too. I don't know, but this is kind of how I remember the local bookstore by me was called Bookseller. It's of course no longer there anymore, but it was huge. It was like in a warehouse, and the funny thing is I'll never forget the smells of the place, the layout. I'll never forget how just like walking in, it's so good, and they had legit candy selection, which was awesome. I think that was the best thing about that too, dude. So like, is you would go, you would pick out the movie, you get some candy, and you were just hyped to watch that movie. I think with streaming, I mean, you do lose 100% of that feeling. You know what I mean? It's like maybe not 100%, I guess, but like, you're scrolling around, pick a movie, you can have a movie night. I think that's the thing. I think if you have a dedicated movie night or something like that, you could kind of get the vibe, but not really, because you were there was no like you're not gonna sit at the movie or at the movie store for like 2 hours. I feel like you could scroll around, you get up, I'll watch something later. Like I think when you pick something out, you spent your money on that one thing, you're gonna watch that thing, and you're gonna either like the movie or not like the movie. I think it's just so easy to pick whatever you want now. I don't know. That's a standard rant that probably everyone has, but um, obviously streaming's amazing, and we have so much content for the cheapest price ever. That's one thing too. Like Netflix can go to $20 a month, and it's still going to be the cheapest thing ever. I think there's always this huge uproar when it goes like a buck. Like if you just think about the 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 amount of content we get for like whatever it is, was it like $10, $11, $12, $8? I don't even know. But this photo, Martin Parr's photo right here is so good. So let's go to the second photo from the top 5 color photographs. Here's the second photo that I like. This one here again on the left. This is actually Martin Parr right here. He likes to take self-portraits, which is something I actually kind of want to get into, to be honest. Um, Maybe I'm going for a nostalgic vibe, and I think Martin Parr is really good at doing that, and that's something I need to be more aware of. Actually, I had a conversation with my friend. We were shooting photos in Oberlin the other day, and it was like we weren't really talking about this exactly with like nostalgia type stuff, but we were talking about how things. I'm trying to remember exactly the conversation, but it was how things will look different in 20 years. I think that's pretty much what was going on. We are talking about like cars and how things could be totally different because of um, like Uber type stuff and that type of thing. Like what will cars be like, or the amount of cars will it be just more public transportation with like like being picked up. And that really depends on probably the next generation, like my son's past my son's generation. I think that's where I think my son Riders is gonna be similar to ours. I think there's gonna be definitely advances, like always. Like to say that there won't be, it's insane. Because if you think of 20 years ago, yeah, life was just completely different, like so different. There's 20 years ago, Facebook wasn't even around yet. So to say it won't be different 20 years would be very not smart to say, but I think it's going to be similar, but there will be even more advances. I don't think there will be massive changes. I think that will be the next generation. I think life will be different by whatever. I think online, it's all things that will change is because of like getting online to do certain things. I think the general life, I don't know what advances we can really do, to be honest, and maybe I'm just so uh, I just think the internet is going to continue to evolve humanity in what we do. Um, but yeah, so we'll see. But this is great because this reminds me. This would be if I was this age at this time. This would be me, just rocking on a cheeseburger with my video camera. You know what I mean? Like, I'd have like my photo camera, probably in a bag next to me or in my hip or whatever. And I got the huge video camera, try to document the process. And, the wife being annoyed, I think that's just the process right here. But yeah, so now this is sick. I just like the whole thing, the safari scenery here. Yeah, it's just classic. Just for me, at least, it's classic for me. And that's why I was picked. Yeah, I really like this one. This is actually like a close second to the other one. The other one is just so like perfect. This is really good. I like this one a lot. So let's go to photo number 3. All right, and photo number 3 is right here on the right side this time. Got candy in the way. This photo I like a lot. This continues on a theme of layers. That was big on, I think, the Eggleston series. I talked about things through windows. This is just like, I like this one because it's like slightly closer and it just staggers back with people. And just the way everyone is looking everywhere except the camera. That is really cool. Just the outfits. Look at these pants. Like, what's going on with this crazy pocket? You got a zipper like on the side. Sick outfit. Her outfit's awesome. There's a baby just laying her in. I don't know. This is cool. I just like how this window is like perfect here too, and you got people inside. This is just a cool photo. I like it. Somewhere in the late 80s. I don't really, you know, my I don't even know if my photos, all my digital photos are correctly time stamped, which is probably funny. Like I just never go through and like date my camera, or I just turn the thing on and start shooting photos. But the folders are made within my stuff will be dated similar to this. Not even maybe some like this, I guess, possibly, depending. But I can definitely narrow my time period to months because I date my folders that the photos are in by a month, but it's actually by import, not by date taken. But so it could be something that's in like November 2016, but it was actually photographed towards the end of October, but just wasn't put into a folder until I was importing November, and I just put it all in there. So it's very close, but it's something I'm kind of, I don't know if dating stuff is more interesting when it's just already older or when you're doing it. Because when you do it, it might be kind of weird. I don't know. But maybe it's not over time. And that's really, I got to start thinking about that with photography is there, and I know this is things I've told myself in the past, but is just like not worrying about, it's not worry, but not being concerned or whatever word you want to use about current time, because current time is already like, I feel like current time, I'm like 17 years old and I'm not that anymore. Like, so I need to remember that. So I feel like it might be weird to put a date in, but if I kind of want to, why not do it? And then 2 years, it's already going to be 2 years older than that date. I mean, if that date was 2 years before the book I released or something, then it's 4 years. Time is disturbing. Let's go to photo number 4. All right, and the next photo is luring the next page on the same side. Interesting pic, but you'll see. So when you open this, like right away, you're drawn to the center, and the center is out of focus because the focus is over here on her. And I actually like that a lot. Very, it kind of made, this is obviously requires, some good depth of field. This is why I love full frame. This is why a lot of those things. We'll get into that whole nother, I could talk all day about that. Long story short, the crop versus full frame, you'll get better depth. I hate those whole things where it's like, oh, it's very similar. It's not very similar. It's not close. It just isn't. I've done the tests. You can achieve, I guess, something similar. You'll get something slightly out of focus, but the depth is completely different. That's why it is what it is. I like how, but like they don't compare like a 1 inch to a crop sensor, and like, it's only that, but I'm also not being paid by a camera company. Yeah, which I think is kind of if you realize it's always the same brand company that's being talked about, comparing it to full frame, I think it's an unannounced paid sponsorship if you've seen those videos, because you don't hear like Sony people saying it. You know what I mean? Anyways, slight rant. I can get into that easily. But no, I mean, I shoot with a crop sensor thing all the time. It's right here, Ricoh GR. I mean, the photos you can get with this is insane. You can get, some depth with it for sure. It's bajillion times better than iPhone, like a jillion, bajillion, bazillion times better than iPhone. It's way better than a 1 inch sensor. But then once you go to, full frame, it's just not even comparable. I mean, it's like you're going to get better as you go up. It's just like a medium format's going to be better than a full frame. Anyways, I'm continuing on this rant because it drives me nuts. Where can I set this thing? Right here. Anyways, um, I like this photo. I think this photo actually works. Like if this was all in focus, I think it would be kind of messy. And now it's really funny. Like I'm thinking of these conversations. This is why I like going out photographing with my friend Larky, because we have, so sometimes there's like gaps of time. So like it's a lot of like catching up while we're shooting photos, and it's more catching up than shooting photos. But I think that's actually important because at least for me, I'm in like this my own world. I have my own world in my head. You know what I mean? It's creating photos. I'm doing this thing. But it's nice to be like to speak about it and then get like feedback about it and then hear responses and thoughts and weave it into my thought process to where I was just mentioning this. I was mentioning depth of field, and he sent me a link. I've been working on this fair series that got delayed a bit because of COVID, so it's like not every year. There's a missed year in there, but I started it and I did it this year. So I mean, I'm continuing to do it, and that's gonna be coming soon here on YouTube. Is the 2002 fair photos have not even been revealed, talked about, shown really yet. So I'm excited to do that. But he sent me a link to someone who shot like fair photos. Um, I'm not too sure exactly if it was a book or what, but I specifically brought up this one photo because it popped up at me because that's one thing I realized this year is that I want more things of the fair. Like I definitely want people in it. That's the kind of the main thing, but I need more things. And there's a photo of corn dogs, and this is how I remember it in my head, is because it just popped up at me. Is like this one corn dog was just like popped up because of the shallow depth of field. It just looked so. It just looked awesome. And he said, my friend like said, it's because it gets rid of the clutter. And it just immediately was just like, it's true. That's what's so great about like those types of cameras where you can shoot, like 1.8, especially like in a full frame, or I have like a 1.485, which you can separate a gajillion things. That's the word of the day. And so this, I mean, I don't know I'm not smart enough with photography to know, what the heck lens this is used. Maybe, see, I don't know. I have no idea. But, because this is not how my photos are laid out. Mine are more like this. So I have no idea. Um, and it might say in this book. I have no. There's a lot of information in here, but it won't say like the camera and settings, or it might not. It won't say the settings, but could say camera possibly. I know now he shoots with. I think he shoots Canon, like the big 5Ds. I think is kind of what he's shooting with. I think last I knew, he shoots with the zoom lens, and we had that conversation as well. Zoom lens, again, another. It's literally written in my. I'm just gonna show and tell as well. Written in my notebook about zoom lenses, because we had that conversation too. Um, I don't know where I was going with all of this, but oh no, if this was all in focus, it might look like just kind of cluttered. Because like if everything was like, you see a lot more out of here. This would all be blended together, but this, like this right in here, just pops up at you, and that's my favorite. So when I look at other photo books, this is why depth means a lot to me. Is when I look at like the legends of photography, my favorite photographers, their stuff pops up at you, and you can only achieve that with certain equipment. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's a fact. So that's why I like to carry my Ricoh around with me all the time. Is because even simple stuff, like stuff of like if my son's playing with wrestlers, I have my phone right with me. It's like I can just turn my phone on and just take a bunch of pictures. But I do it with this because even though it's just like simple everyday things that is going on, I mean, one, the quality is way better. the depth that where I'm getting at is way better. Like the wrestlers pop out at you if he's playing with wrestlers, and it might not be something I'm using now, but maybe at some point, like this photo of Ryder's hands playing with these wrestlers could be an interesting photo for something someday, maybe. Yeah, you know what I mean, or it could just be something I want to post anyways, and you just get a better image. And I was even thinking about this the other day of how I need to even be better carrying around my full frame camera more often. I definitely take it with me when I know I'm like it's multiple times a week where I take it out to go shoot photos or something. But this is with me every day, and because this can fit in my pocket, so this is literally with me all the time. I think it's just I was looking at lenses and maybe something a little bit smaller to carry around with the full frame, but I don't know. Anyways, I kind of knew I was gonna go through a whole full frame rant thing with this. They're not any rants; they're just passions. Anyways, I like this photo. Looks cool. Yeah, super rad. So I think this might be like the longest top 5 video I've made. So let's go to photo number 5. All right, we're going to photo number 5. And I think we get on these themes with these books. It's because I think that's the nice thing of looking at photo books is it kind of opens up ideas and thoughts. Like it kind of, as you're doing your thing, you're just in your zone. You know what I mean? It's nice to kind of maybe jar things in your head a little bit. So next photo here on the left side. We talked about the TV photos in the black and white selection out of this book. Is just another one of those types of ideas. This is cool. I like it. It's kind of like weird in a way. You know what I mean? Like what's going on? There's a chair in front of a little doorway here. You don't get this carpet vibe anymore, unfortunately. I think that's what's cool about old like living space photos like this is like the really weird carpets. I think everything like was like a color match in a way, or like a cluster of matches. But yeah, so things on TV is something that interests me. I think achieving them might be slightly different. I mean, it will be different probably. I think like what's cool about TVs back then is they were in weird spots like this. They can be moved around. Now they're on walls. You know what I mean? They're mounted up. I mean, there's TV stands and like stuff like that too. But like, I think there's more. They're not sitting on like end tables. Like this is kind of you know what I mean? It's like a small square table type thing, or this actually could be dedicated for this TV. I don't know, but like I think TV stands now you have these kind of huge things because like I'm not too sure what a standard TV size is, but it's probably like I wonder what the most bought TV size is actually. My guess is probably like a 42 inch or something like that. I don't know, but yeah. So this is cool. Yeah, I guess we just picked a lot of nostalgic stuff. A lot of his color stuff is like I'm not that into, but stuff. There's some stuff I really like at the same time too. So it was nice to go through. The black and white stuff got me super hyped, and then I do like what Martin Parr did is kind of a good reminder of continuing what I was talking about, what I was doing with writers, like just taking photos of just things that are going on. Because you never know. Yeah, I mean, like just with like how they'll look with something else. Like so, like so you got a vibe here. You know what I mean? This is the thing about photo books is I mean you have photos with photos. Yeah, I mean like that's what kind of helps the flow of books, and I'm trying to translate that digitally to the like the digital gallery, what I've named it to kind of give it something I can talk about, so I'm not like fumbling different words every time, but and I had to put the word digital in there just to kind of emphasize that it's, online, if I'm using the word gallery. Because I didn't want to use projects in it either, I want, because I want to do like a behind the scenes type thing. So it's like I wanted to make sure like here's the thing, here's the gallery, and then here's like the work of the project. You know what I mean, or that type of thing. So I wanted to make sure I separate wording for the photography stuff. So, anyways, this was definitely a longer one. This is what happens when I nerd out about photography, is I can talk about it all day long. This ends the Martin Parr series. So it was only 2 book series, but we did 3 videos. Um, I think maybe we'll go to maybe do Gregory Crewdson next. That's a possibility. I'll look to see what's going on with my photo books. I need to make a lot of space for Gregory Crewdson. So, and I kind of have things I don't want to move. I have external drives sitting around. I need to finish up transferring. So we'll see if I get to that, and then maybe we'll pick a different photo book out if we don't do Crewdson. But I think I have a couple books of his, so it might be like a little mini series again. And yeah, I guess that's it. I want to thank you for watching. I appreciate your support. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.